Hey everybody, welcome back to Urban Rush. You met our next guest when he was on our show not too long ago for his book, How to Survive a Robot Uprising.
Yes, and he came up with another grand idea, and I didn't realize that I had a lot of bitterness from the fact that science fiction had promised a lot, and actual science had delivered very, very little. He wrote an entire book on it called Where's My Jetpack? A Guide to the Amazing Science Fiction Future that never arrived. Daniel Wilson.
How are you, Daniel?
How are you, Daniel?
Good.
Nice to see you. So where did the idea for this come from?
Well, after I graduated from school, right, I spent years and years making sure that, basically doing research in smart houses that could take care of elderly people.
Yes.
And I spent all that time doing that to make sure that we could all retire with robots, as we should.
Thank you.
And then I looked up and I said, wait, where's all this other stuff that we're supposed to have by now, right?
So does that spawn a conversation with friends and stuff about all the things that they always wanted and never really came to pass?
Yeah, about once or twice, you know, until your friends are completely sick of discussing it. And, you know,
Stop talking about it.
Guys, did you know that hoverboards are real?
A little dirty, Daniel. But there's a lot of things, like when we were kids, that we actually thought by the year, like the year 2000 sounded like it was so far in the future.
Yeah.
We thought we would have hovercrafts and be living on the moon and that sort of thing.
We were so stupid,
We were
weren't we?
so stupid.
No, I like to blame it on science. I think science wasn't smart enough.
Okay,
Science was stupid.
Let's talk about some of the stuff that you highlight in the book, such as smell-o-vision, because some of these things people have actually tried, and they've appeared in our past a little bit. Let's talk about that, because we often wish this show was smell-o-vision.
Yeah, really?
Not right now.
Well, okay, so actually, a lot of this stuff is real, right? And that's what I found was that the scientists will chase this stuff down. And the smell-o-vision is a great example of where they kind of went in a place where people thought maybe they should go. Turns out, no, not a
bad idea.
Not a good idea. Smell-o-vision, it came out like in the 60s. There was a movie, and it was actually the theater had little pipes, you know, that bursts of scent at different parts of the movie. It was called Scent of a Mystery. And if you had a good nose, you could solve the mystery. Everyone hated that. They renamed the movie and released it later.
Were you surprised by the number of things that you would sort of think of that didn't, or you thought didn't come to pass, that actually had gotten to the stage of development?
Oh yeah, basically going into this, I was really outraged and entitled, and I thought I was going to have to describe how to do all this stuff. And then I found out that
people had done it.
You thought our future was up to you. Let's talk about the jetpack, though, because I learned a lot about that. I didn't know that that was an option, sort of.
I saw it at Super Bowl.
Yeah,
the guy that he did the full jetpack.
Yeah, if they could just get those on everybody at the Super Bowl. Now, that's a game, okay? That's a sport. Yeah, the jetpack developed in 1961 by a guy named Wendell Moore. He was a rocket scientist, okay? And his specialty was these small rockets that went on wingtips of these aircraft that are way up high, so they can't really plane off the air. So he literally stuck one on his back and just went at it. Yeah, well, he tethered himself down. And that's what separates a scientist from a regular guy, from your uncle. So anyway.
Your uncle wouldn't tether. A scientist thinks about the tether. And the other thing they came up with to go along with the jetpack was the vibrating helmet, right, to warn you that you're almost out of fuel.
Yeah, this is why these guys are not the Darwin Award winners, right? So this goes on because you got only 30 seconds of fuel. I mean, the great thing is it is literally a rocket, right? Yeah. Two chemicals come together, they expand, basically they explode, and they do that until it's all gone. So it's not like you have an engine, you're starting it up.
And when it's all
not
gone,
that complicated.
You don't want to be really high up there.
Yeah,
you want to be fairly close.
So the helmet buzzes to tell you got 5 seconds left or you're going to die. You know,
well, and transportation, I think, for me, was sort of the thing that I always thought would be revolutionized. And yet here, we're just barely on the cusp of talking about hybrid vehicles.
Yeah.
No hovering, no flying, like nothing.
So sad, so pathetic to see your car just sitting there. But
the same idea
down by
from
gravity.
like 1930.
Here's the deal, and this may be controversial, but humans should not drive. We are not good at it. We kill each other all the time. We were not evolved to do this. We can't even we can barely see at night.
Right.
We can't
so
walk
if we
barefoot.
create flying cars, it's just going to exacerbate a problem that already exists.
Yeah, but so what we have the self-steering cars, the robot cars, right? And you know, if you actually look at the progress of technology, you see that robots are slowly taking over more and more control in the cars. The cars can park themselves now.
The robots are coming to get us, aren't they?
Oh, you know, I don't think so.
Hence the How to Survive a Robot Uprising. We have to talk about
perhaps we should
another
all
project that you're doing. You're writing a book at the same time that you're doing a screenplay right now. Explain the screenplay to us, if you will.
Sure, yeah. So I sold a couple of young adult books, and one of them is called Bro-jitsu, the martial art of sibling rivalry. And
Such
I have a little
awesome
brother.
title, by the way.
Yeah, and so Nickelodeon Movies picked this up, and and basically, this bro-jitsu thing is, if you got a sibling and you grow up together, you evolve a form of combat, right?
Absolutely.
And as it turns out,
I am a younger brother.
Bro-jitsu.
And you are an older brother.
Indeed.
And you create, like, there's whole rules, there's ceremony that goes around the fight.
and
like,
a lot of it revolves around your parents, when their backs are turned, you know.
Yeah.
So if your parents actually had siblings, and they grow up, they're bro-jitsu masters, basically.
Sensei.
As a child, you have to be, the bar is up high, right? Because they're going to know when you're lying. They're going to be able to turn around right whenever you do the bad thing.
But what about only children? Where do they come into the mix?
Only children are a dangerous breed of human. They don't understand taunts. If you taunt an only child, he may, and this is serious, he may punch you or she may punch you in the face, and blood might come out of your lip or nose.
Not
because
knowing the rules of bro-jitsu.
Yeah, because they have no idea.
Well, and bro-jitsu, I love the whole concept. Anyone with a sibling loves the concept because all these things that go into it. It's like, when do you run to your parents, right? Like, at what stage in bro-jitsu is that a good move versus when is that a bad move, and you'll pay for it later?
There are so many special cases that I had to include several mini guides. So I have. So how to deal with little sisters, for instance, because they're really, or little brothers and sisters, they're kind of too physically underdeveloped for real torture, so you gotta mostly stay psychological.
Yeah,
like,
what if there's
call
like
Santa
8
Claus.
years between? You can't kick the crap out of them.
Yeah, you know, it's so sad, but you can't.
Yeah.
And so I have all these mini guides for how to deal with it. Bro-jitsu in the car, when you've got your parents' limited attention, so that's when you really want to capitalize.
Bro-jitsu in the car is the worst when you're a younger sibling, though. Especially when it's a station wagon.
You know what? It usually only involves one hand, though. It's just like,
Okay, How to Survive a Robot Uprising. We've heard since the last time we talked to you that it has been optioned for a screenplay. Michael Myers is involved. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Paramount optioned that, and Mike Myers is attached to star in it, which is totally amazing. Never spoken to him or anything, but we're close. And the Tom Lennon and Ben Garant wrote a script. These are the guys who wrote Night at the Museum, and they also are Lieutenant Dangle and Travis Jr. from Reno 911, which is really odd when I met them.
Which, if you love that show, you'll be like, yes.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I'm like, you guys are funny and you write.
Do you ever sort of wake up and look at your body of work and go, this is cool. Like, this is what I do. Yeah,
I actually am very, very pleased because the act of waking up usually occurs around 10 a.m. And that's when it hits me. Oh, yeah. Do I want to get out of bed?
Nah. Why bother?
Well, no. As a grad student, you build up a guilt complex. So no one makes you do your research, and so it kicks me in the butt.
A PhD and an MA in guilt is what it comes down to. Is basically what you get.
Self-motivation.
Daniel, thank you so much. Of course, we talked about How to Survive a Robot Uprising. The new book is called Where's My Jetpack? And I cannot wait to hear more about bro-jitsu. You have to come back when that's happening. Daniel,
always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it very much. We're going to take a break and come back with lots more on Urban Rush right after this. Kohos Jitsu.
That's bad.